James Herbert Keenan was born in Ravenna, Ohio on April 1964, the only child of Southern Baptists Judith Marie and Michael Van Keenan. He is of Irish and Italian descent. When his parents divorced in 1968, his father moved to Scottville, Michigan, and Keenan would only see him about once a year for the next 12 years. His mother remarried, bringing Keenan into an intolerant and unworldly household where his intelligence and creative expression would be stifled. His mother suffered a paralyzing subarachnoid hemorrhage due to a ruptured cerebral aneurysm in 1976 when Keenan was 11, and this incident would later serve as the inspiration for songs. In 1982, he graduated from Mason County Central High School in Scottville, where he was a member of the wrestling team. His father was one of the coaches for the team, and left coaching at the same time Keenan graduated in 1982. In addition to completing a rigorous math and English curriculum, Keenan wrestled, ran on the cross-country team, and sang in the glee club. It was during his time in the military that he adopted the sobriquet Maynard on a whim based on a fictional character he had created in high school. He was distinguished in basic and advanced training, but declined an appointment to West Point and instead chose to pursue a music career because of his disillusionment with his colleagues' values, and because he knew West Point would not tolerate his dissidence. Upon completing his term of prep school, Keenan studied art at Kendall College of Art and Design in Grand Rapids, Michigan. From there, he moved to Somerville, Massachusetts, where his love of animals led him to practice interior design for a Boston-area pet store. He was transferred to a store in Los Angeles before he was quickly fired, and began working in set construction. During the 1980s, Keenan played bass guitar for Texans and sang for Children of the Anachronistic Dynasty, both independent bands. During this time, he wrote an early version of Sober, later Tool's first successful single. He also performed live and recorded with Green Jello between 1990 and 1993, playing guitar and performing backup vocals as the voice of one of the pigs on the band's hit song Three Little Pigs on their debut album Serial Killer, and appearing in the music video for Slave Boy on the band's follow-up LP 333. Around this time, he also struck up a friendship with Tom Morello, who has credited Keenan with introducing him to drop D tuning. Keenan spent time jamming with Morello and Brad Wilk, as did Zach de la Rocha. Morello and Wilk considered Keenan and de la Rocha as candidates for the vocalist with what would become Rage Against the Machine before deciding to ask the latter. After moving to Los Angeles, Keenan met Adam Jones, who had in college heard him singing on a demo. Impressed with Keenan's vocals, Jones suggested that they form a band. Reluctant Keenan eventually agreed, and in 1990 Tool was formed, fronted by Keenan. The eventual lineup included guitarist Jones, his neighbor drummer Danny Carey, and bassist Paul D'Amour, who would later be replaced by Justin Chancellor. Tool signed to Zoo Entertainment in November 1991 and released the Opiate EP the following year. To support this release, the band toured with Fishbone and Rage Against the Machine. Shortly thereafter, Tool released their 1993 debut album Undertow in the United States. It was certified gold after just 8 months, and platinum less than a year later. In 1994, the band released their single Prison Sex with a corresponding music video created and directed by Jones. The video was deemed too graphic and offensive and was withdrawn by MTV after a few airings due to a symbolic dealing with the sensitive subject of child abuse. The band members were outspokenly critical of peer-to-peer file sharing networks, due to the negative financial effect on artists dependent on success in record sales. The ones who get hurt by MP3 are not so much companies or the business, but the artists, people who are trying to write songs. During Tool post-Anima hiatus to deal with their legal issues, Keenan began working with Billy Howardell, Tool's guitar tech, through the Anima tour on a different project. The supergroup they formed, A Perfect Circle, began performing in 1999 and released its first album, Mare de Gnomes, in 2000. They released a successful follow-up in 2003 titled 13th Step, a reference to 12-step programs. Both albums were eventually certified platinum. Their subsequent 2004 album Emotive was primarily composed of covers, except for the singles Counting Bodies Like Sheep to the Rhythm of the War Drums, a song inspired by Pet that was originally released on 13th Step, and Passive. Keenan later characterized the record as a political album with which he tested the waters, and was subsequently crucified for it because of the content. It was certified gold the month after its release. That same year, they released the DVD and CD set entitled Emotion, which was certified platinum within a month of its release. However, in November 2010, the band returned from a nearly 6.5-year hiatus with a 14-show tour in the western U.S. Touring resumed in May 2011, with a North American tour across the U.S. and Canada that wrapped up at the end of August. The band performed only once in 2012, with a show of December 29th in Las Vegas, followed by a 5-show Australian tour and a 3-show South American tour in early 2013. Return in 2003, Keenan surfaced under the name Pucifer for the song Rev 2220 on the Underworld film soundtrack. Pucifer was once advertised as a side project with Danny Carey, who had formerly performed live with 9 Inch Nails, but has since been formed as a manifestation of Keenan's creative subconscious, interpreted to mean that the name is now a pseudonym for his solo work. Keenan has stated that it is a premier improvisational hardcore band, and his catch-all stream of consciousness anything goes project. When comparing the project to Tool, in an interview with Rolling Stone, Keenan described it as his attempt to make music to inspire people. This is definitely not thinking man's music, but groove-oriented music that makes you feel good. In a later interview with Artist Direct, Keenan said that he did not want the lyrics to be puzzles. He wanted the complexity to be in the music, stating that's the part that gets under your skin and makes you feel good. In short, on October 2011, Keenan released Pucifer's second album, Conditions of My Parole. The album received generally favorable reviews on Metacritic, a positive review from AllMusic's Gregory Heaney, who described it as a fine piece of cold-weather headphone music. Keenan followed with the February 2013 release of Donkey Punch the Night. This EP includes covers of Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen and Balls to the Wall by Accept. It received mostly mixed reviews, and resulting in a Metacritic rating of 62%. Keenan has a son, Devo, who sang backing vocals on A Perfect Circle's 13th Step, and was later credited as the cellist on Ashes Divide's Keep Telling Myself It's Alright. He also gave a solo cello performance for Keenan's 50th birthday celebration concert, Cinquanta. Keenan has a reputation for being reclusive and controlling of his public image. He dislikes the manner in which celebrities are worshipped, and at one point carried business cards with the name Jesus H. Christ printed on them. When dealing with stalkers, Keenan has resorted to using a paintball gun to run off trespassers from his property. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is one of Keenan's pursuits, as shown when he took down a fan who ran on stage in the middle of a performance and put them in a rear naked choke, and he studied under Rickson Gracie. In November 2021, Keenan was promoted to brown belt in BJJ by 6th degree black belt Luis Heredia. In January 2024, he was promoted to black belt in the art. It was announced in June 2010 that Keenan had proposed to girlfriend and Caduceus lab manager Lei Li. On September 2012, Keenan wrote an article for the Phoenix New Times in which he made reference to his wife. On July 2014, Keenan's wife gave birth to their daughter.